Death is an uncomfortable subject for everyone. On the next Mystic Fix, we're going to talk to someone who is dying in hospice, as well as someone who's written a book on all of the technologies used to communicate to the dead. Hope you'll join us. Welcome to Mystic Fix. I'm Julia Gordon-Bramer. This week's episode corresponds with the Death Tarot card. Usually, the Death card doesn't mean death, but rather transformation. It's a card of putting the old life behind you and going on into a new unknown place. And sometimes that's a little bit scary. As I record this, my good friend Suze Mondello is on the brink of death in hospice. As an early supporter of Mystic Fix, she was gracious enough to spend some time with me on Zoom back on Valentine's Day, as she had just gone into hospice after an incredibly long battle with cancer. She has been on the decline since, but is still hanging in there. Realistically, by the time this show airs, she may be gone. So I'd like you to say a prayer for the gentle passing of my friend and hear some of her last recorded words. I'm talking today to Suze Mondello, who is my friend. And Suze, I've known you probably since fall of 2019, right?
Yeah.
When you came to me as a tarot client from a referral.
Yeah.
And at that time, you told me that you had stage 4 endometrial cancer. And these few years that I've known you have been such a journey. I have learned, and I continue to learn so much from you. And the reason that I'm asking you to be in this show is because I think you have wisdom and certainly experience that most of us don't have, and are very curious about. You are in hospice right now, and which pains me to say, and I have just been starting to, even as I told you on a recent visit, come to an understanding of what hospice even is. I thought initially that it meant just a couple days or even hours and you were gone, and it can be like a 6-month process or so. The thing about you, Suze, is in this time that I've known you, no one can quite believe that this is happening, because you are one of the most positive people I know. And I have never met anyone who was able to shift to, such a getting the lesson and the optimistic stance and going for what you want and not what you don't want. I have right beside me, I have the book that everyone has in spirituality, Louise Hay's Heal Your Body. And I was expressing to you how frustrating this book is to me now that I know you, because I do believe it probably works in some cases. I do believe that our body reflects some things going on the inner, but you don't fit this mold. I want to say that that you're such a model to me of really living in spirit despite the body crumbling. And I shared with you recently a card, which I also have beside me. This was an Esther Hicks card, one of these cards you pull for the day. And the one I shared with you says, "You cannot die. You are everlasting life. In grace, you may choose to relax and allow your gentle transition back into your non-physical state of pure, positive energy. Your natural state is foreverness." And I love that. And I hold to that. And I believe that, these are just skin vehicles that we've got. And like any vehicle, they break down eventually. No car runs forever, right? You are truly in a transition time right now. And you're watching your energy kind of fall away, your body, really. I mean, I know your body is not the body it was even 3 months ago, right? And what are your feelings going forward? Are you afraid? Are you excited? Are you both?
Wow, you put a lot in there, and I'll do my best to touch on some of them. In regards to Louise Hay and Esther Hicks and um, Dr. Dyer, and there's so many, Wayne Dyer, there's so many out there that talked about the power of positive thinking, Joe Dispenza. And I do think there's validity to that. There's definite research that shows if you have a positive attitude going into something, the outcome is likely to be much different than if you have a negative perspective going into something. How do you prove that? There are, qualitative and quantitative ways of measuring that, or just merely how you feel after an experience. Um, I think it's really important to set intentions. Uh, One of the individuals I've been gifted to work with is Michael Lerner. He is by far one of the most outstanding individuals I've met in my life. And through him, I've met many others. Over 40 years ago, he started doing research on how to manage cancer integratively, not just with allopathic and traditional conventional medicine, but he went through country after country and started looking at how to manage cancer in different realms: Chinese, German, the US. And positivity, there was a research study that was done where in a hospital they had one individual in a room who had stage 4 cancer. I don't know the specifics, and another patient in another room who had stage 4 cancer. And they, over time, did this research study where they had people pray from all different religions. One prayed for the patient in room A, and none paid for the patient in group B. They received the exact same protocol, exact same food, exact same interactions. And the person in group A did very well. They recovered faster. They had better outcomes. So yes, is there something to prayer and healing energy? No question. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I have had people from so many different religions ask me if I mind if they pray for me. And I will say, please, please pray for me, because it's that energy that I believe in. It's that
Yeah.
incredible positive energy. Is that energy enough to heal? Maybe. In some instances, there are records of where people have healed through positive energy. Is it true? I'd like to believe it is. Is that the same for all of us? Like anything, we're all built bio-individually, meaning our insides, our outsides, our mind, body, spirit. There's nothing about each of us that makes us exactly the same. Even if we're twins and have a lot of the
Yeah.
same genetics, there's still so much that keep us different from each other. But I, I do believe positive healing is possible. I do believe having a positive attitude has helped keep me alive. There's no doubt. I also know when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was the first person in my family. And so I was naive of what the heck this thing was and what it meant. But I treated it more like it was pneumonia or a really bad flu, and I just had to overcome it. I did not understand how it can take down the body and how there are different forms of cancer that can take down the body in different ways. Um, I think you and I were talking yesterday, just because I have endometrial cancer, and if it spreads to my lungs, that doesn't mean I have lung cancer. That means I have endometrial cells that have spread to my lungs. I do not have lung cancer. And so what's confusing in society is people think, well, just give them lung drugs, give them drugs that'll help treat lung cancer, and that'll make them fine. Unfortunately, that's not how the body works.
Mhm.
So what I want to bring around to is all my positive thinking in my instance has not to this point been able to manage the power of what the cancer does to the body, how smart it is, how it replicates normal cells and tricks the body, and then infiltrates and then takes over the body. And in some instances, people are fortunate to have a form of treatment that can help control that. And some can have that on a maintenance dose for years, and some can go into remission for decades, and some can get cancer and be gone in 3 weeks. It it's just indescribable how it happens. There are individuals called death doulas There are birth doulas, and a birth doula is someone who will help you bring a child into the world. Um, in some parts of the country, it's very controversial. In other parts of the country, it is a given. You will have a birth doula. Same with death doulas. In some parts of the country, they are welcomed and expected as part of the death process. In other parts of the country, they are forbidden or taboo or not even talked about. And basically, what a death doula does is talks to you about the hard stuff. They're not necessarily, they may be spiritual. They don't have necessarily medical training. They may be a doctor that decided to become a death doula. They're just someone who is committed 100% to stay by your side through all of the process as you pass on from the earth. I have looked into death doulas. I haven't found one. I haven't necessarily chosen that path. I still do a lot of integrative medicine. Acupuncture has been significant for me. When I think about spirituality, a lot of people say, well, what about meditating? Do you meditate? I think I've meditated most of my life, and I had one of the most incredible role models, which is my mother. As a child, I remember getting up and going downstairs, and she'd be sitting in this big wingback chair, sipping her cup of coffee, doing her morning prayers, and praying and grounding and intending her day. And that influenced me hugely. Um, I meditate a lot, I quiet a lot, I listen a lot. I think there's a lot more to be heard when you're quiet than to be heard when there's a room full of people talking. It's just been my experience. And through that, I've learned how to follow my gut, which is, I guess, a form of spirituality.
Is there any beauty in this? I don't know if that's even the right word. Any lessons, any, as you are going, nearing the end, um, any particularly meaningful experience that that you could not have possibly understood at a younger, healthier age? I don't know if that's too
Yeah, all
much
of
to
it.
ask.
Cancers, no, no, no. Cancer's ironically been a gift. Um, it's helped me understand who I am, what matters. It's given me the gift of how important gratitude is, how important curiosity, how important respect for myself, respect for another, how important love for myself, we love for another. If a person cannot love themselves, they can't fully love another. And I've learned that when we love ourselves, it's very difficult to be unkind and rude to another human being because you have self love and self respect. There's no reason to have a dialogue that is unkind or rude. It doesn't mean hard conversations aren't had. It just means the angle at which they are approached is very different.
With
And I think
respect.
that's really hard for a lot of people to understand until you either choose to take that. Yeah, it's hard to understand that unless you choose that. And I also think life is one choice after another. You choose how you're going to treat each other. I choose how I'm going to behave in a situation. I choose what I'm going to do for a living. I choose how I'm going to interact with someone. Those are all choices. Those aren't guns to my head. Those are choices. And we are very fortunate being in the United States. I don't like to use the word privilege, but man, we have so many choices in everything that we do every day that other people can't even dream or imagine. We have so many choices. We're so, so blessed. On our worst day, we are so blessed. And so I think, have I learned a lot? Oh my God, yes. Do I, what gets me through it is when I focus on what matters most. And for me, that may be very different than you. For me, that's my health. It's my close relationships. It's how I take care of my body. It's how I take care of those I love. It's how I take care of the earth that I love. And when I'm out of alignment with the things that matter most, I'm out of alignment. My body's out of alignment. The way I interact with people is out of alignment. My fear is out of alignment. But when I focus on what matters most, and that can shift, not dramatically, what matters most to me is pretty much what's been the same since I was a child. It's just when I get too far away from it is when I lose I lose my way.
Yeah. Wow.
So, am I afraid of death? Nope. Was I when I first was diagnosed? Heck yeah. It was because back to your earlier point about these are just vessels. These are our vehicles that get us through this lifetime. It's really our soul that will transcend this. And
Right.
as painful, as life shattering, as rude, as despicable it has been for me, some people die in a car accident and don't have time to think through anything, don't have time to have conversations, don't have time to pause on what's really important, to say, I love you, to dance, to laugh, to eat their favorite foods. With cancer, I have the choice to do those things, provided I can. There have been times where I can't eat and I can't physically stand, but there are times where I can, and I feel like I have the choice on how I'm going to live each day when I wake up. And people will say to me, well, I could die in a car wreck today. And I'm like, great. Does that impact the choices you make? Does that impact the way you talk to people? Does that impact how you live your life, what you do?
Yeah.
For me, it has impacted those things. And I've been very grateful for the people who have stood by me, my company who stood by me, my friends who have stood by me. I think some people have had to move on because cancer can be too scary and they just can't handle it. And at first I took it personally, and now I'm like, I
Mm.
understand. I'm okay. If you need
Wow.
to move on, I'm okay, because I thrive with positive energy. I don't do so well with negative energy. And I remember one day my doctor saying, the first time I heard it say it to me, cancer loves drama. Cancer loves fear. Cancer loves anger. Cancer hates love. Cancer hates joy. Cancer hates hope. And it's just the opposite. So I realized, he said, so go out there and be as happy as you can be, because you're fighting cancer that way. Go out there and do the things that you can to the best of your ability while you still can, because cancer hates that. But if you want to be in drama, and if you want to fight and you want to argue, cancer will eat you alive. It'll grow, it'll multiply. And I'm like, huh. And I have found, when I have had really rough moments, if I don't get my head on straight and gear myself and straighten myself quickly, the cancer will take over quickly, and it will, whoa, the pain will come on with a vengeance. I find that when I go through tough situations and I don't necessarily know how to handle them, if I learn how to have patience and kindness, the pain isn't as deep.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, Suze, you amaze me. And clearly you've been doing something right, because you were only supposed to have a few months to live when I met you 3 years ago. But Yeah, I think it should be noted, you kind of touched base on it, that you're working with Dr. Michael Lerner, and into your last days, you're really crusading for patients' rights, right? You're an advocate for patients going through this, and that's so meaningful. And
Yeah.
if anybody is going through such an awful thing for a reason, I mean, I can see the blessings that you're creating through this terrible, I mean, I hate to see it happen. But you're paving the way to make it better for others. And that's an incredible gift to the world. And so I just want to say thank you, and I love you, and I am your friend beyond the end, because I don't believe there's an end.
We'll be together. No, whatever plane or whatever aura, area, whatever it is, we will be together.
Welcome back to Mystic Fix on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. We just heard a moving conversation about life and death from my friend in hospice, Suze Mondello. If you want a chance at a free copy of this week's author book, or if you'd like to be one of our free tarot card readings in the third segment, you can register for our giveaway on mysticfix.com. Coming up, more free tarot card readings. You're listening to Mystic Fix on News Talk STL, 101.9 and 94.1. And now my closing. This July, I'll also be reading cards at the Illuminate Festival in Ocean City, Maryland on July 29th. If you've never been to an Illuminate Festival, they are all over the United States, and you can learn more at illuminatefestivals.com. Before we go, I want to thank our sponsor, Comaflight. A couple weeks ago, I got to work at a party that was pretty much the party of the century in Miami, and I met Matt, a Comaflight instructor. I told him that I'd seen those Miami models in the Instagram videos, and I felt that I was probably too old or too fat. He assured me that it's a very personal, adaptable, individual thing, and anyone with any reasonable level of fitness can participate. He even volunteered to fly me one day. So, I know that when I can get down to the Chosen Retreat Center in Sebastian, Florida, I am going to try it. Deepening intimacy through somatic movement, Comaflight distills and blends the dynamism of contact improv, the serene flow of Watsu, the deep tissue release of Thai massage, and the exhilaration of acro yoga. Comaflight comprises a new modality for reanimating the body. Visit at Comaflight, that's KAMAFLIGHT, on Instagram for videos, links, and more information. So glad you could join us for another episode of Mystic Fix. If this is your kind of programming, please like and subscribe to the videocast or podcast. Subscriptions get us found in searches, and it really helps. You're listening to Mystic Fix on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, and I'm Julia Gordon-Bramer. Until next time. Okay. So now we're in your show. And I'm just going to take a drink.
On to clap.
You're so funny.
That was really good.
Oh, thank you. All right.
I just want to pat your mic down just a little
Yeah.
bit because I want to make sure that it's not too loud. Because I'm used to this one where I have to keep it on.
Gotcha.
Just to okay, so we're good.
Okay.
I'm cutting your mic on now.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Mystic Fix. I'm Julia Gordon-Bramer, author, scholar of mysticism, and professional tarot card reader. Today's episode is in alignment with the Temperance tarot card. Temperance is about good health, being in flow, and balance and moderation in all things. And on that subject, I'm really happy to introduce my friend Jennifer Jarvis Hurt today. H-I-R-T, Hurt, not like the word. Jennifer and I met when I spoke to the Universal Connections group a year or so ago, and she joined my A Course in Miracles workshop that I lead. I have been fascinated with her sacred smoke and rituals business, as well as of her journey of self-healing cancer. Plus, I love her Maine accent. Jennifer is an expert in spiritual herbalism, medicinal use of plants, intuitive healing, rituals, harmonizing with seasonal energetics, food, cosmos and plants. Oh my gosh, it goes on and on. Maybe I'll save some of it for a little later, actually. But you do a lot, and it's about incorporating magic and mysticism with the body, with the physical body. People tend to think they're two different worlds, right?
Yeah, they do. And it's not. Actually, it's an integration of the physical and spiritual. There we go.
It's all good. It's all good. We can edit. Yeah. Yeah. Just you want to just talk into the mic as much as you can.
Into the mic and not look
I mean, you can totally look at me. Yeah. But that's good. Yeah. Just be close to the mic.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So you had a healing journey. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So my healing journey began after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then the surgeries had a little bit of a botch in the treatment, was extremely painful and crippling for me at that time. So I went through a spiritual journey of going into a very mystic place with, ironically, plants.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through this journey with plants, and then I came out, and once I was able to start moving around a little bit, that I started to ask myself, like, okay, I don't know what to do with my life right now. Like, I don't know what I was going to look like. I didn't know what my life was going to look like. And there were things that I didn't have control over.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I started to focus on what I did have control over. So turning to Mother Nature and turning and creating like tiny rituals personal to me really gave me that sense of control. It reduced stress, and it brought me into this place of empowerment.
What called you to that? I mean, have you always just loved plants and they kind of just started speaking to you, or?
That's a great question. So growing up, I was a wild young woman. Like, I ran around barefoot. My aunts had farms, and when we were roaming in the streets, like, we would pick wild blueberries that were in like little pockets of forest in our neighborhood. And then my aunt was a forager. So I grew up having these influences, but it was really what happened, that spiritual journey that I went through, this initiation with the plants. I went into this place and the plants carried me. And then when I was able to like get up off the couch and start to move around independently, the first thing I noticed was, oh, how unusual. There are these plants that never grew before, like pokeweed and mullein, mugwort, that just started to appear on my land. And here I am in suburbia in this house. And I've lived in this house at that time for like 12 years.
Like the earth was offering these to you to help you with your healing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then there were some that I was just vibrationally drawn to.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to ask myself, like, what was real? Because the chemo and the pain meds and the antibiotics was, to me, it was like killing me. Like, I could feel just like something being sucked out and my bones getting weak. And
sure, what's totally toxic.
Right?
Yeah.
So inside it was like, okay, when it came to like what is real, and it was the bottom line, it came down to Mother Nature, the seasons, the cycles, and rituals. And that gave me access to information. So the other part of that is I went into my lineage and I started to look like, well, what did my ancestors use, right? Because I knew very little, close to nothing. No, I knew your basic, like lavender was great for inflammation.
Uh-huh.
But this mugwort stuff, like, what do I do with that? So I started to question. And so, like, connecting to the Celtic lineage, I started to notice that the herbs that I was drawn to were aligned with that.
I'm telling you, just to silence your phone.
It's all good. You're fixing that.
What's going on there? Okay.
I
Okay.
can talk louder. I had a loud voice, so I just don't know.
Oh, no,
if
you're
I
fine. We
keep
can
down.
fix it. It's
Okay.
it's actually easy for you to talk talk into the mic.
Right into it. Okay.
Yeah.
That feels so weird, not looking at you.
Oh, I know.
All right.
Okay.
So the herbs really started to get me to that point of healing. And I started to think, okay, well, the plant cells are 98% like ours. So that was going to be the fastest to come into my body and assimilate and change what was going.
Wait. You're saying that 98% of a plant's cells look like human cells.
Yes, they do.
That's amazing to me.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Do go on.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
What came back from biology lab in college.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden was right here. So it's funny, what deep wisdom gets activated, right, in these times when we're just blank and we got no interference, and we start using nature and these little tiny rituals to keep anchor into that time and that space and really harvest the wisdom that's there in that moment. So working with those herbs and realizing, okay, the plant cells are like ours, it's the fastest to assimilate, and then I wanted things to circulate throughout my body as fast as they could so I could eliminate the toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would replace, the toxicity was getting out, and then all of these plants were able to come in. So that's how actually I grew into finding nature as a way, because no matter where I was, and everything was in the details, like this herb and that herb, and combining them in a way where they were harmonizing with one another, and they would then come in and heal the organs and give my body the energy that it needed. So it was really they just supported me, and no matter where I was at, they met me there.
And when you say they met you, were you researching, or this is just a very spiritual kind of feeling it through?
That's a great question. So it's a little of both. First, it started off completely 100% intuitive.
Uh-huh.
I was like, ooh, this plant, and then Googling it.
Uh-huh, sure.
Right?
Learning
then,
what it is, and yeah.
Absolutely, yeah,
Uh-huh.
what it is, what is it used for? And then I was also looking into, what's the spiritual aspect? What's the folklore to this? And how is this used? And how do I integrate that into my healing? So it was both spiritual and physical.
Mm-hmm.
And then that grew into me getting in this space of going, oh, let me find an herb store. And I go to the herb store, and I'm just looking what's on the shelf. And I'm like, well, that one there. And then I wouldn't know, or I'd ask, what is that for? And then I'd just take my little handful of stuff, and then I'd bring it home, and I'd spend time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting to make these little concoctions and put them together. So flower essences, tinctures, tisanes. And tisanes is just no tea, no caffeine.
Uh-huh.
So it's how things used to be.
Right, which I just learned today because you gifted me one. Thank you.
yeah, the ancestor wisdom, which is great. Oh, I'm going to love that one.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, I think, have you ever met a plant you don't like?
Yes.
I don't like poison ivy.
Who does? Right?
I see no reason for it to be on the planet. No creatures eat it. It does nothing for this world.
That's interesting. I've never researched that one. I didn't know that. So you told me something today.
It's a vile scourge, and I think came straight from Satan. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, I love that. Oh, wow. Well, no, the ones I worked with, I believe, are divine.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is the first plants that I really was drawn to, other than what introduced themselves to me in the front of my house, were bane herbs, poisonous plants.
Mm.
And in this journey that I went through, where there was this garden and different plants were there and present, I really believe the initiation came from having the poison of chemotherapy coming through the body. And so here's this poison that's supposed to heal you, right? And then looking at all of these herbs like mandrake, belladonna, henbane.
Oh, so you found natural forms of chemo, basically, is what you're saying.
I'm not sure if they do have antiviral, anti-cancer properties, which is peculiar.
Huh.
but I use them energetically through flower essences.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of those have like their own spiritual purpose. The personality of the plant really like lends to the energy, and then how we can integrate that through our use in like every day. So like part of my self-care ritual was like, getting that point, getting up, looking at the stone or looking at the candle, and then begin to use Mother Nature and integrate that into
Mm-hmm.
my healing. And Bay nerves was really like the most potent ones for me.
And
So,
I presume you're like journaling all of this because
nope.
no, you just have a good memory.
Very, very.
Wow.
This is a thing that to me became really amazing through this process is it's cellular communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's unforgettable. The memories that are here is because it's stored in my body, and I can access this information at any time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So how did you start doing this for others?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So I got little bullet points here because it's so big that the strengthening myself in this each day, that it came to this point where I got this feeling like this is my purpose. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was like, all right, well, let me introduce this to my friends. Let me introduce this to my family. So I made little ritual kits with a general guide at that point, and made up some little tisanes and flower essences, tinctures, ointments. It was all there, the full apothecary,
Mm-hmm.
but they were small batched. And then I started to gift them. And then the feedback and the change and the transformation that was happening in their lives really let me know that something undeniable was there, that this is something that I could offer to others. And then I started to think, it was like, wow, what is this going to do for them? How could this have some kind of positive impact in their life? And what will their life look like when they start integrating using these herbs and the candles and the tinctures, and just creating tiny rituals where they can anchor into that space and that time and that place and that moment, and whatever is happening, it's all going to be supportive. And I just wondered what it was going to be like for other people to experience that, because that's the way I experienced it.
So people can contact you and get a very customized kind of, what would you call this, treatment system, ritual?
Yeah, definitely ritual.
Uh-huh.
So anchoring ritual into daily life is really the goal here. So having small batch botanicals, everything is intuitively crafted and sourced locally. Like I'm growing some of my own, and then I got a couple herb farmers right here in Missouri, one in Wright City, one just outside of Troy, and then actually one in Maine, because I'm like keeping it close to home, bringing in my roots.
Uh-huh.
So we're keeping it pure, we're keeping it close to home, we're keeping it small batch, and really goes to our values of that, everybody has this innate connection to nature, and we have this inherent wisdom, and it's infinite. And we also have our inherited practices.
Mm-hmm.
So what I discovered through rituals, like, hey, these are these practices that I can create for myself, but also my ancestors have. And the more I do them, the better things got in my daily life.
Yeah.
So this
very
is what
cool.
we need to offer to others.
Very cool. So how do people reach you, Jennifer, if they want to get one of your if they want to talk to you, if they want to get one of your candles, one of your teas, one of your rituals?
Yeah, great. Thank you. So right now we are still in production, but if you go to sacredsmokeandrituals.online, there's a landing page where you can actually subscribe and sign up to be able to get notified, to be some of the first to be notified about our next small batch launch. And we do have a launch celebration coming up around the end of summer, where everybody is going to be able to get a chance to access what we have here.
Awesome. And you do other things too, other groups. I mean, I know you celebrate Beltane and some of the moons and that sort of thing. So people can probably find you on Facebook for that sort of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Facebook. So my personal page on Facebook is Jennifer Jarvis, and you can go there, and that's where we get a little more up close and more intimate.
Yeah.
And personal.
You're a beautiful writer. I mean, you really have such, considering I'm an author and I read your posts and I feel like, God, I don't put any effort into this stuff. But no, really, really lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time. I wish we had more, but we will be excited to see your products coming up and maybe bring you on again once the webpage is fully launched.
I would love to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we're back with Mystic Fix. It's time for the tarot card readings for our lucky callers. Okay, so now we need to do some phone calls. And I will need my headphones. Do you have a pair? Okay. Okay, great. And if you want to listen, you could. Okay, then you'll need some headphones too. Okay. Perfect.
That's
okay.
I eat that.
And I'm going to tell my people that I'm running a little late.
This is for you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And
thank you.
I love this one. This is for you.
Oh.
This one's my personal one, but this is wormwood.
It smells lovely.
So if you wanted to try it.
Wormwood?
Yes, which is great for connecting with ancestors and spirit world.
Ooh.
So that is a tincture. So if you just want to open it up and
should I?
just let it go. Yeah.
Okay. Like just that much?
Like the whole dropper if you want, and just let her down. You're gonna want to swig some water after that. But,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So wormwood's very good, like smoking it too.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned sage. So the other gift that I had for you, this is mugwort.
Oh my gosh, you've pouring gifts all over me.
Yeah,
It smells
thank you.
wonderful.
Awesome.
It smells really
That
good.
is
great. Yeah,
This is so lovely.
All right, so I have headphones there.
Okay.
And so what we are going
So the headphones plug in underneath. You should have a box over by you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
somewhere. I don't think I lied. I've been over here once before. There we go.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're good there. And then whenever you are ready, we can.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm too loud. Okay. So first number to call is 573 701 2418. I'm going to move these. 2418. Mm-hmm. If they pick up. I have extras just in case.
Your call has been forwarded to an
she
automatic
blew it.
voice message.
All right.
You may try to call back.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Next one, 636 970 9661.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 6369770.
Yeah, 636 970 9661 was that one. But yeah, okay.
I can try one time if you want.
All right, let's try again. Okay. 636. Or did you?
Yep.
Okay.
970. Yep.
Okay.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message
Okay.
system.
So next one. This is why I have 6 numbers.
I see that.
815 228 5395. Jeez, is anybody going to answer?
Hi, you've reached me. I apologize. I didn't make it to my phone in
Oh.
time.
Okay, just hang up. Oh, this is bad. I should have brought more numbers. All right. I think I will be reading for you. Okay. Tracy Bolton, 636-249-0661. Can you close the door all the way? No. Thank you.
I can tell the difference.
Right. Jeez, where is everybody?
Please leave your message for
This is unbelievable. All right. Yeah. Well, all right. 618-772-4501. Getting kind of mad. Unfreaking believable.
It's a Friday.
Yeah. Makes me angry.
Hi, you reached Dan. Sorry, I'm unavailable. Get to
Yeah.
the phone right.
Just hang up. All right. Let's try Jessica. 618-882-1536. You would think out of 6 names that at least one of them would be there.
This one feels like.
And I only brought one extra. I had more names at home, too. I'm kind of mad I didn't bring that. I don't know. Nobody's answering. We may
Please
just
leave your message for
Yeah.
618.
we may just have to do you, and then I'll record some more next week and figure out. But let's try. I have one other one we can try. 314-225-7224. Yeah, it does smell good.
I clean with that company.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, is this Angela?
Yes, it is.
Angela, this is Julia from Mystic Fix. You gave me your phone number to call for a free tarot card reading?
Oh, yes, but it's not a good time right now because I'm working.
Okay. Thanks anyway. Yep, this is the time we record. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How weird. Out of that big, long list of names, you would
Has that
think.
ever happened?
Never.
Wow.
I mean, I've had like 1 or 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
But, like I told all of these people, I'm like, all right, I'll be calling you in the 2:00 hour. And, and I'm a little bit on the later side. But,
Still.
yeah.
Still
Unreal.
within the hour.
Yeah. So, why don't I can give you a reading and I can give Anton a reading
Yeah,
and we
love
can
it.
record
Yeah,
those.
perfect timing.
Want to do those? All right.
And I'll step out after for his while he gets his.
We just,
And,
you can just trade places.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can still watch
okay.
if you want.
All right,
If
I
you
didn't
want.
want to intrude.
Okay. Okay, so Jennifer, I'm going to give you a tarot card reading.
Yay.
So why don't you mix the cards a little bit?
All right.
Get the Jennifer energy in there.
Here we go.
And what subject would you like me to look at today?
That's a loaded question.
I'm glad you're doing yours first.
Let's do personal.
Okay.
Oh, do we?
No, just put them back in.
Put them right
Yep,
back in
yep.
there.
I am not very superstitious.
Okay, great. That feels good.
Okay. And talk closer to the mic when you talk.
That feels great.
All right. And so just what I see for you around the personal life.
Yeah, that's it. Just the personal life.
Okay.
That's it. No pressure.
Okay. We've got some challenges. So we start with the Eight of Swords, which is the lady in the cage. And this is telling me that you are feeling restricted or, it can be sort of stuck at home. We all had this during quarantine, I do know some things going on with you, so that I know this makes a little bit of sense to you. And your next card, the Five of Swords in reverse, says you're feeling kind of beaten up, kind of like everything's very hard right now. So you have some suggestion with the Four of Swords to rest. This is just self-care, slow, easy, doing what you need. Your top card is the Seven of Swords in reverse. Now, Jennifer, this is a hard card. It's a card of victimization. And it is where all the energy's going to. So what I think is that you've had some trauma in your life where you were victimized in what looks to be a pretty serious way. And that's at the core of everything you're going through right now. So you are at a turning point, and that's exciting. A lot of times we bury stuff until we're ready to heal it. And when the problems surface, that's actually when you're ready to heal. But we always, oh my God, freak out. So I do see you on a journey with the Chariot. The Chariot is successful and driven and arrives at his destination. So this is a card of great accomplishment. We've got the Judgment card in reverse, which is about checking your energy. This is my karma card. And of course, karma is not good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. We all know that's not true. It's more like in the Bible where we say, as you sow, so you shall reap. And what we sow are seeds. And so the seed of something is the reason you do things, the motivation, the energy behind an action or a decision. So I really want you to check your energy and say, does this feel right? Does this feel honest? Does this feel true? And I want you to live from that place. Now, your last card is the Moon in reverse. And this is a card of some physical struggle, usually illness, and sometimes depression. And I just think that it's part of the process. But I want you to remember, you've got the Chariot. You are badass. Okay? You will get there. You are doing it. Your big takeaway should be that you have some rest and that you're facing this very hard stuff you've been through. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you comment back?
You can if you like.
That's exactly what I'm going through right now. Like that ultimate, like ever since doing ayahuasca, it's like really, it was like Santa looking at the naughty list. It just went, hey, and it's all like right there. And there's no stopping it. There's no censorship. It's just 100% surrender and acceptance, and then moving through that, like flashing back to what was, and that card with like the feeling trapped and stuff. That was like the hardest thing about getting the shed and growing the herbs myself versus just keep sourcing from other people, because now it's going to be rooted.
Oh, wow.
Because I love to just like, I'm gone.
Right.
I want to be in Maine right now. I want to go to like somewhere else right now. And I would just take off. Right. But now I can't. I have to stay. I have to nurture. I have to attend. So.
Well, I'm glad I could give that to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
you're very welcome.
A lot of hope.
Yeah.
Because that was my question. Like, what will the next
You just
be?
Keep your vision as that Chariot, that you are driven, you are ambitious, and you are getting there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always
all right.
100%.
Thank you. Come on over, Anton.
Okay. I'm a little nervous, but
I don't bite.
All right, let's make sure this is on and working. Okay, yep, we're good.
So
I'm going to turn this towards you.
okay. So I have this new engineer, Anton, who's like really cool and my new best friend.
Thank you.
And I thought it would be fun to read his cards. So why don't you shuffle?
I'm terrible at shuffling.
Do you know, I've been doing this over 44 years, far longer than you've been alive, and I still can't shuffle. So don't feel bad.
Get the Anton energy, so you say.
That's right. That's right.
And this is
He learns so fast.
This is my first reading ever.
Oh, you've never had a tarot card reading?
This is my first time.
So what I like to tell the newbies, tarot shows you the path that you're on. If we see something coming up that you don't like, it is an opportunity to do it differently. So, you know, in the case of the reading we just did with Jennifer, there were some things she didn't like, but she is on course. So she isn't necessarily going to change it because she knows she's got some hard stuff to handle. But you are, you know, if you don't like something that you see, you can say, forget that. You know, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to approach this with different energy. I'm going to, you know, change my lifestyle perhaps, or, you know, whatever we see going on. Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right.
I think I shuffled those to the best of my abilities.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So what kind of subject would you like me to look at? Or do you just want me to see what I see?
Not so easy, is it?
But I had a completely different answer until she phrased it that way. So let's just go for the ride.
All right.
Let's see what you see.
All right. Okay.
These cards look really scary.
Oh, they're not. They're not.
All right, let's do
So
this.
we start with the Nine of Swords in reverse. When I say a card's in reverse, it's upside down as it faces me.
Okay.
And this is actually, when it's upside down in reverse, it's a good card. It says that, I'll show it to you straight up, first of all.
Okay.
So she's in this dark room, and it does look scary, and swords look scary, you know. But none of these swords are attacking her. They're stacked on the wall behind her, and she is turned away from them. Swords in the tarot are our thoughts. We say someone is sharp, right? So she is turned away from her thoughts. Her world is fine. She's cozy in bed. She even has a comforter here, okay? Yours is upside down, which is saying you're facing the hard stuff. You are in a sort of a process of you know, looking at your inner journey and what makes you tick. And it's a good healing card. So
Oddly accurate.
yeah, so
Okay.
just right from the get-go. So
Okay.
our next card, we do have the Lovers in reverse. So usually this is romance, and in reverse it does feel like that's a little problematic for you right now. So it can be feeling separate from your lover. It can be feeling uncertain about the future. Sometimes it's not having one, but I am just seeing like there's a little tension or something not feeding the romance in the most positive way right now.
Oddly accurate. Go ahead.
So I do have the Three of Cups in reverse. This is our party card. And in reverse, it's saying a little too much, Anton. It might, you know, it's about, it doesn't have to be that you're smoking and drinking too much. Sometimes it can be eating too much. Sometimes it can be just too much celebration. Like, oh my God, I have 3 graduation announcements in my mailbox plus a wedding. And how am I going to do all of that? And, you know, a couple $100 a pop for each kid. And, you know, that's too much party. Yeah. So it kind of depends how you want to apply it. But I am seeing that there's a lot being asked of you socially. And so it just feels like you're kind of wearing down a little bit, you know? So I would say if you can stay home more, if you can just.
If I could like not leave the house, that would be lovely. I like being home these days. So
good.
That's, again, oddly accurate. All right. I like where this is going.
Your top card, this is the one you're not going to like. And it's the Five of Pentacles. And it's just saying that money's really tight this year. And welcome to the economy, you know?
Welcome to being an adult.
Yeah, yeah. It's a rough year for a lot of people. I do, oftentimes I work with my clients about money, and I do like to say that the people who have money like it. And that sounds like such an obvious thing, right? But most people aren't after money for money's sake. Money isn't like a hobby for most people. They're after what money gets them. And so if you got interested in money for, just to have a little bit of personal power, like if I said to you, if you had, let's say you had $10,000 in the bank, no one would call you rich, right? But think of the peace of mind of having that cushion, right? If you lost your job unexpectedly, you could float for a little while. If your car broke down, you could get something. You would never bounce a check. It gives you a peace of mind, and that is power. So I would love you to get more interested in money for money's sake, building money, growing money. The other thing I say to my clients all the time, if I just join a health club and I say, Anton, I am going to get so in shape and I am going to work out twice a month. Well, you'd be like, Julia, twice a month, that's probably not going to do it, right? But that's about how much time the average person spends on their bills, like the 1st and the 15th. And the rest of the month, not thinking about it. So just like if I am physically fit, it's a daily or almost daily practice. And so fiscally fit, same thing. You need to be, you need to be reading about money. You need to be interested in money. I'm not saying read dull stuff. I'm not saying look at the stock exchange every day, because that wouldn't do anything for me. But there are fun books. There are spiritual books around the idea of money and just kind of raising your money vibration. And I can recommend a ton of them if anyone wants to write me on mysticfix.com. So moving along here, I think money is sort of the issue this year. It doesn't mean that you have to be suffering, but it does mean that it's tight, and it could be certainly a lot better. So as we go forward, I have the 6 of Swords in reverse. So this tends to be either a travel or movement card. So sometimes it's actual travel, like, going, to Europe or something. Other times it's traveling to the next phase in life. Yours is upside down, which is saying you cannot do it in the next 6 months. So whether you're trying to just elevate yourself, maybe get a promotion, or whether you're trying to as I said, go to Europe or South America or whatever. It looks like it's going to be longer than 6 months before you can do that. And it is on the heels of that money thing, by the way. So as we go forward, you've got a Queen of Wands and a Queen of Cups here. And this tends to be feminine energy. Queen of Wands tends to be like a woman. She's fun, she's lively. But she's a queen, so she's probably a bit older than you. You respect her. She could be someone you work for. She could be a mother. She could be an aunt. But I would say, Anton, that you're surrounded really with this feminine energy. And Queen of Cups is the loving mother. She even has babies on her throne there. So definitely, I would say your mom looks like a big part of your life in a super positive way. Yes. But then there's this other females around you too. Like you just look embraced to me by women. So
accurate.
So that's really nice. Yeah. So now you've had a tarot card reading. Any questions?
Oddly accurate. I don't have questions, but this entire roundup looks pretty dead on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, even with these 2 cards specifically, if we could name those out.
The 5 of Pentacles and the 6 of Swords in reverse.
Yes. So, looking for a job in my field and all that good stuff really worked. That's been like a nonstop process pretty much for like the last 2 years. So,
sure.
And I have associated that with, once I get that job that I want, I can start moving around financially in the way that I would prefer to. But until then,
right,
I'm sitting tight.
Yeah.
So no surprise.
Yeah. Okay.
No surprise, but the good things, everything is accurate, good and I won't say bad.
Right, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's just a thing.
It's just accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's life.
Awesome.
So
well, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right.
I really enjoyed this.
Cool.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, and we're done. I have to say my goodbye.
Yes.
I forgot too. I didn't even
Okay.
mention my Instagram or my other Facebook.
Oh, you know what? I'll put it on the video
All right,
cast.
thank you.
So yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, duh.
Yeah.
All right, I
you so
love
much.
you.
I
oh
love
my
you
God,
too.
it's so good to see
Thank
you.
you for the
and
gifts.
like real person.
That's
You're
amazing.
welcome. Yeah. Do you like the scent? First.
Oh
off?
my
'Cause I
gosh,
got
yeah.
other ones. If you don't
It's
like
gorgeous.
it, I can switch it.
It's gorgeous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
Thank you.
And I am not going to forget you.
Please don't. It was very nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Jennifer.
you too, sweetheart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks for
You guys
coming,
have fun.
Jennifer.
Sorry about the calls, but it was
Yeah.
fun to
It
like.
was definitely fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the calls were crazy. You know, we're in the Mercury retrograde,
Are
and
we? I didn't
oh
know
yeah,
that.
yeah. It started
I just knew
on
about this powerful
started on
touch.
April 22nd. So yeah,
Fun times.
I know, I know.
I think I got everything.
All
You got
righty.
Everything.
Yes.
I don't have keys.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too, sweetheart. Enjoy. Bye, love.
Bye bye.
Oh, how do I do that?
Just go that way and make a right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
See ya. Okay. And I'll just finish up here. My new book, Tarot Life Lessons, on Destiny Books, is real life stories from my journals about working as a professional tarot card reader, and it is now available to pre-order on Amazon.com. This July, I'll also be reading cards at the Illuminate Festival in Ocean City, Maryland on July 29th. If you've never been to an Illuminate Festival, they are all over the United States, and you can learn more at illuminatefestivals.com. Before we go, I want to thank our sponsor, Comaflight. I love doing this show, and it would not be possible without Comaflight. Want an amazing spiritual weekend getaway? There are new Comaflight weekends scheduled all the time at the Chosen Retreat Center in Sebastian, Florida. Deepening intimacy through somatic movement, Comaflight distills and blends the dynamism of contact improv, the serene flow of Watsu, the deep tissue release of Thai massage, and I lost my and the exhilaration of acro yoga. Comaflight comprises a new modality for reanimating the body. Visit @Comaflight, that's KAMAFLIGHT, on Instagram for videos, links, and more information. So glad you could join us for another episode of Mystic Fix. If this is your kind of programming, please like and subscribe to the podcast or videocast. Subscriptions get us found in searches, and it really helps. You're listening to Mystic Fix on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, and I am Julia Gordon-Bramer. Until next time. Okay.